Happy schedule release eve, draft drafters. It's Dan, it's JP, and tomorrow is when the full NFL schedule comes out. Because here's the thing, dude, like every time I try to start it off with something fun, like happy this, whatever, I looked it up. Today is, it's Happy International Hummus Day on May 13th.
I like me some hummus.
I do love some hummus.
Not have poured
I will crush
too much.
that. It's a good problem to have. It's National Apple Pie Day. Apparently, that's a good pour. You'll be good to go. It's also National Fruit Cocktail Day, National Cough Drop Day, National Crouton Day, National Frog Jumping Day, like leapfrog, I guess, as opposed to actually like having a frog jump. It's also Root Canal Appreciation Day and Top Gun Day, amongst other things.
Well, I may have missed a couple
ridiculous.
of those, but I think the hummus is the best one to celebrate.
I would agree with that. If I had some hummus, I'd be eating it right now.
Do you have chickpeas?
The wife, I think, finished it. Yeah, the wife finished it. So
do you have
cheers
chickpeas?
to not hummus.
It? Oh, you're joining me in
I am
a spirit
with a different spirit than you are having, sir. It is from a different part of the world than what you are having, sir, and we will talk about it a little later on. So cheers to the shirt you have on as well, because while we may not be a basketball podcast, the Pistons are playing in the playoffs as their Jekyll and Hyde series with Cleveland continues. So here's the Pistons getting the home win tonight.
Hey, I will cheers to that. Hang on. I was reading something come through on my phone here.
They have been trying to make things interesting. There's no doubt both teams in this series. What thing were you reading on your phone before we get into it today?
Apparently somebody in the whiskey small batch group is not happy about the George T. Stagg bottle I posted.
No, what it is they're happy. They're just not happy because they don't have it. It's like, and that's the thing. If your whiskey friends are mad at you for getting good bottles, then they're not really good whiskey friends, are they? What they need to do is remind themselves that if they are good enough friends with you, you will share that bottle at some point in the future. Patience.
And or help them get a bottle if they really want.
Or that, yeah, exactly. But patience among whiskey friends is always a good idea, because everybody gets to a point where they've had either they want to share a bottle or they've had enough of another bottle to where they're getting a little more loose with what they're sharing. So anyway you look at it, that's your little tip is to, the same thing as like we're coming into summertime, so it's like everybody jokes about finding boat friends. Like having a boat is a lot of work, right? Maintaining a boat is a lot of work, having a dock, etc. Either you're putting it on a trailer or you have a spot you can put it in the water. Point is, a lot of work, but having a boat friend who has the boat that you can just hop on, and that's how you do things. So here's the boat friends, and here is to the
Bourbon
NFC and Bourbon friends as well.
All right.
Also good to have, yeah, right? But we took care of the AFC, right? And we're basically splitting hairs between the Bills and the Jets for the two best draft classes. I think we're probably still angling the Jets, but the Bills get like an asterisk there, I feel like, when it comes to that. So now we got to figure out the other side and the NFC. And
jeez. And what's your spoiler alert?
The NFC West is just about as bad as the AFC West.
Oh, and the team that I'm going to start with, just to keep the pattern, it might be the worst in the NFC.
But
might be the worst.
They had at least one that you liked.
They had one pick that I absolutely love, and guess what? Every other pick they had, I hate. I hate them.
Okay, well, I liked one of their other picks, but that was about it. So we'll get into that with the San Francisco 49ers. To kill the suspense, what did your favorite team out west not do very well?
Everything except for one.
Nope, they did. They traded out of the first round to get the guy that they wanted. So points, even if the guy they wanted would have probably been there in the third.
That's the only reason it's not an F. Instead, it's a D+.
D- for me, but yeah.
Yeah. It's DeJon Stribling. They took it at 33. You already said they traded out, got some picks, moved back, got him. Still reached. Still had wide receivers infinitely better. We don't know everything, but I'm just here to tell you, 99% of the population had wide receivers that were available above Stribling. Sorry, Stribling. It's just the facts.
Yeah, they did need a wide receiver, so good on them for getting one. But,
they did.
And again, who knows? He was rising up boards. Maybe you and I are just a little bit biased.
He rose up to the fourth round. I had a fifth round grade on him. I was like, you know what? He should be one of the first guys picked on day 3. I'm going to put a fourth round grade on him. Well, that went out the window.
I had him in the fourth. Like I had him as a late fourth. So again, either way, if he becomes the player that they want him to be, then we're all going to look silly, except for those people who be like, "See, I told you." And there's like that's DeJon Stribling's family, I think, something like that. But what else?
The 49ers. Yep. I wonder, do
Right
you
in the
think
Niners.
is Stribling related to John Lynch? Maybe that's what's going
I
on.
mean, it somewhere way back down in the annals of history potentially,
Maybe
but I don't think it's a
Stribling's
direct.
dating someone in Lynch's
Ooh,
family.
that's not a bad, or within the Niners organization, like
Yeah.
high up, something like that. Maybe
Something's
he's got
going on.
I don't know.
Anyways.
I like that idea.
All right. then at 70, they take Romello Height. Now, this is a guy at a 7th round grade on just because he produced in college. I have no idea at his current height, weight, length combination and 25-year-old status. I have no idea how he ended up being a 3rd round pick.
Sure.
That got an F. Kalon Black, again, I was mildly intrigued with him based on how bad this running back class was. Also factor in that he's going to be 25 years old a month into the season at one of probably the position. There's no other position where age
The shortest.
matters more. Yeah, it's
the shortest window.
Yeah, this literally is a one contract player, and he might not even ever start on that one contract. Hopefully, he doesn't for CMC's and all Niner Nation sake.
Right.
But again, 7th round grade, F.
Same.
But then they saved it all a little bit. Then comes in round 4, A+ pick. If I gave out more S's, just like trying to be nice and being Santa Claus or something. This is a plus 59 on my board. It was my D tackle one. I know that I knew the whole season I was going to be the only person on planet Earth that had Grayson Halton at D tackle one. I still stand by it. I refuse to sway from that. Can't wait to watch him play and see if I'm dumb or smart throughout this season. That's A+.
Yeah, and when you look at the fact that they have got Alfred Collins and Digizua as their starters, there's an opportunity for him to get snaps. Like Ziggy's great
Plus,
and everything, but
Halton's athletic enough and has enough pass rush ability to where they could probably, in here and there, move him around a little bit, just for fun.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He's by far the best pick that they made, and I didn't even have him as my first D tackle, but it was still a good fit for them. So I don't know if Lynch didn't make that pick. Maybe somebody else wired that one in, or maybe John. This is the only one he did make, and he wasn't paying attention the rest of it. I'm not sure.
Somebody felt bad for him and swapped out the card. Like, dude, let's give this guy. I don't know. But then another 4th round pick, they got Carver Willis. I had a UDFA on him, even though I said I will give out Fs through the first 4 rounds. So, that's an F. I'm sorry. It's an F. then they took Prysock, Ephesians. Prysock. I don't know. You got to say it. You got to say it.
Oh, yeah. You have to say Ephesians, yeah.
Yeah. 6th round grade on him. They got him in the 4th. Ironically, just the way my board works, even though I had a 6th round grade and they got him in the 4th, it was still only a negative 29 just how the board breaks down. I didn't have a lot of high draft grades, so I gave that a D.
Right? D- from me.
Now I got a D- though. I got a UDFA here in the 5th round with Jaden Duggar, small school guy.
I disagree.
I like the shot here. This is the second best pick they made to me.
Sure.
I'll be honest with you, but I still gave it a D- just based on who was available. I factored that in a little bit. Like, heck, that
was a B- for me.
This is Red Murdoch.
I understand. Agreed. It should have been Red Murdoch, as we've talked about for so many different teams that could have taken a linebacker on day 3. But I did like Duggar as he's one of the, kind of run-thumping sort of linebackers. He's not necessarily a coverage guy, but he was a tackle machine at Louisiana.
That's my second favorite pick of their draft class. And then finally, we got a guy that you were much higher on than I was.
Second favorite pick.
Yes, I had a 7th round grade on him. Enrique Cruz, a tackle from Kansas. I gave it a D. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say if it's your second.
No, look, he is definitely a depth piece for them. He's not going to be a guy who starts right away, which is good for him because he shouldn't be starting right away. But as a guy that you pick up in the 6th round, is that when they got him? 5th round, 6th round. 5th round. Still,
you asked me a question when I had a mouthful of bourbon.
I know, right? Well, it's because I flipped away for a second to take a peek. But yeah, really what it is with Cruz, I liked his smoothness. I liked his athleticism. I did not expect him to be, when I first saw him, I thought he was a guard, not a tackle. But he carries himself, he carries his weight so well. My point is he carries his weight so well in his movement.
He looks like a tackle all day. Sure.
But that's my point. I think he is going to be a good depth piece for them. I think he's someone that they can eventually put in their starting lineup. But that's also depending on how he develops.
Let me rewind, though. This would be my 3rd favorite pick, despite the grades.
Sure, there you go.
This would be my.
One thing,
Halton, Duggar, Cruz.
Right, and I've got Halton, Cruz, Duggar. So we at least agree that
But you
they
don't
made 3
want
picks
two of
that
your
weren't
last
complete.
picks. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not great, as we've pointed out. They got one more, though, so go ahead and say that, just so we can, be thorough. Did they have one more, right? Alex Harkey, wasn't that them? Or did I have him in the wrong spot?
You've
We've
messed
been joking
something
about
up.
how I keep messing that up.
You've messed
All right,
something
well,
up.
not surprising. But my point being, cool. So the Niners made several picks, and
Or maybe I have
most of them were bad.
I don't have
Most of them were bad. That's the practical upshot here. I mean, give me a little.
Even if Harkey
little rap
was
for
them, which I'm almost certain, I'm 100% certain he was not, it still doesn't help this class.
Right. It's not great.
Breaking news: this is fourth out of this division. I'll save the rest. You can learn the top three,
right.
but they are fourth. But
That was
anybody
pretty
who's
easy.
listening to this podcast already knew that.
No, they should have, if they've been paying attention to things. But again, the reason why we're doing this, other than just so we have our own takes out there, is because there could be a player or two that we're talking about that we like better than other people, namely your Blake Grayson Halton, that you're going to want to keep an eye on if you are a Niners fan.
Oh.
Because that's your only source of hope for this draft. So you better believe
but
in him.
There's Stribling could end up being like a starter who contributes and plays well. I just don't think he's going to. I just don't think there's any world where. And here's the crazy thing. I guess there is a world because like the name that jumps out would have been like a Denzel Boston, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And Denzel Boston would have been beautiful fit to sit and learn how to play wide receiver from Mike Evans because they have similar body styles and types. Their game's pretty similar. So that just would have been awesome. But what I was about to say was there's no world where Stribling is better than Boston, but Stribling's got a lot better QB situation and coaching situation and all that. So even if he statistically outproduces someone like Boston, I still refuse to think that Boston wouldn't have done better than Stribling did in this situation. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's one of those things, because if he doesn't pan out, like this is a really good situation for him. Let's not forget.
Right.
He's got a good coaching staff. He's got great veterans to learn from. He's got guys who don't always stay healthy in front of him too. So there's plenty of opportunities for him. The Arizona Cardinals, I mean, they took a shot right off the bat, right?
I got it. I can't wait for you to tell me what you graded Jeremiah Love.
I gave it a B+.
Ha! I gave it the exact same.
Nice. And the reason why is because obviously he's a great athlete. A lot of people like him even better than Ashton Jeanty, which I know you think is blasphemy, but still, he is going to help that team get better. But good gravy, does this team need help in certain areas? And I feel like they probably could have, gone a different direction to an extent. And again, I also had him as my number 5 player on my board. I think a lot of other people had him at 2 or 1 or whatever.
I had him as number 3, so that's exactly where he went, was 3 too. I just I didn't have running back as a need for them.
Right.
It didn't make sense for them.
They're going to have to lose a running back.
There were players that just made much, much, much more sense that were pressing needs that were would have been values. Can you have a value? Can you make a value pick at 3?
I mean, not easily. It literally has to be a guy that you have at number 1 that they took at number 3. That's about the only time you can get a value.
That's wild.
And that's the thing. Now, and again, we'll see how your Mount Pleasant boy LaFleur uses him. Maybe they've got some crazy way that they want to put him out there and make it make sense with the 5 running backs they have on that roster right now.
He can catch the hell out of the ball. So hopefully Mikey throws him out in the slot once in a while or something.
They're going to need to, because again, you have to maximize what you're getting out of him. Because again, yes, he is 21, so he is actually a 2-contract running back, right? Which is great for them because they
he's not even 21 yet. He's 21 this month. That's just the formula.
He's 21 in a few weeks. Yeah, right. So so that's great for them, right? All the way across the board for that. That being said, it's still, like we said, isn't necessarily the best need. Offensive line was a need, in my opinion. Right, and we didn't say that for the Niners, all their needs, but offensive line was definitely a need for Arizona, and they grabbed Chase Besantis probably about a round and a half earlier than I would have personally.
Yeah, I don't think
it was. I gave it a B-. I don't think it was a terrible pick because I do think there are people who value him a lot higher than we did. I think we had him. I had him at like 85, right?
I got it
at 34.
I got a grade on my board. I had him at 70, but it's still a reach at 36. That's more than 32, so I had to give it a C range. I couldn't give it a B if you're talking a whole round later.
Right. I gave it a B- because it's one of my top needs for them. Like, it was like my 4th need for them. So I had to at least factor that in a little bit. And I guess that's because I know the rest of their draft is so terrible that I wanted to give them a little bit of love with their first 2 picks. By the way, nothing else gets above a C- here for me. I'm just going to rip through it. Carson Beck. I know some people are really intrigued at that
I gave it
pick.
a B.
I gave it a D+. I don't think, I understand shooting your shot, etc. But again, this is a team that we know isn't going to be good. Carson Beck is the type of quarterback, and we've seen this throughout his college career, that needs a good structure around him. He's not going to be the guy to elevate everyone else's game. At least that's not what I've seen from him in the time that he's played at Georgia and then at Miami. He was very good last year, but he was also on a very good team. And whenever he tried to take over, it usually didn't go well. Like, the man just makes too many mistakes, and I don't know if it's because he looks like he's always asleep. I'm not sure, but I wasn't a huge fan of that pick. I don't blame you for where you've got him necessarily. I just had him about 2 rounds lower than where he went in the 3rd, and I understand quarterback tax, etc. Yeah, and then you look at the 4th round, Caleb Proctor, an intriguing pick. I gave it a C- because it still was higher than I would have taken him, but I can see where there's a purpose behind him. As a small school guy that could be a penetrating D tackle, certainly something they needed as well there, so I get that. But dude, the rest of this, the only reason why these aren't Fs is because they were 5th and 6th rounders. But Reggie Virgil, no, I mean, we've been playing this game, right? So if you look at the wide receivers even that were there after Reggie Virgil, it's not great, but I would have taken Kevin Coleman or Josh Cameron or Malik Benson or CJ Daniels ahead of him, Deion Burks, those kind of guys.
I had Virgil as a UDFA too, so I can't argue with you.
It wasn't necessarily, I mean, he was one of the few bigger bodied guys left, so I understand that as well. But again, not the value for what you need. Carson Schar could be a fun
I gave that one a B. That's a plus 15 for me.
Yeah, that was a minus a good like 50 for me. So that's a guy that's kind of in that eye of the beholder thing. So again, I'm not going to kill him for it because he's an Iowa guy, so he's probably going to contribute on special teams and get some tackles for you because that's what Iowa guys do, right? Mm-hmm. And then Jaden Williams, why did you take Jaden Williams when Pounds was there? Like, you took the wrong tackle from Ole Miss. Do you think they got like the number wrong and they said pick the number from Ole Miss?
Had to,
when they could have easily taken a much better guy.
I thought Pounds should have gone way earlier.
Pounds didn't even go.
That's no, I'm saying way earlier than this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like you took the wrong tackle. And so that, I mean, I gave it a D- because it was a 6th round pick. Otherwise, it would have been an F. It would have been any other time, right? So, yeah, the first 2 picks, okay. Beck, sure, flip a coin on that one. The rest of it, no. But overall, they're not winning this division either. No. I don't know where they're going to finish because most of the division was not good. But, yeah, they're not winning this division either. All right, what do you got for us in the Ram house?
Rams. They didn't have a ton of picks here, though, but the first one is the pick that...
Well, you got to factor in what they did do from a pick standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a pick that they got from ATL. I'll start there. I guess I should start with, they acquired, they made the trades with KC, fixed the cornerback room up, which was their biggest need. That was win all day, right?
Yeah, basically a first, a fifth, and I think it was a first, a fifth, and 2 fifths, I think. Let me make sure I get this right.
I forget the exact ones, but
it's a first, 2 fifths this. Sorry, one more time. A first this year, a fifth this year, a 6th this year, and a 3rd next year.
Yeah,
so it's a good chunk of change. But
I hate the trade. I think they lost it from the value standpoint, but the fact that the Rams are competing right now and that was their number one need by a long shot, I don't fully hate that. You know what I mean?
No.
So then you go into the next pick here. And it's the pick that they got from Atlanta for letting Atlanta get Pierce. Was that
Whoops.
Yeah, that was who the Atlanta took with that pick, was Pierce. Remember that correctly? Okay.
Yep.
So they took Ty Simpson, which was in theory because they had like no needs other than the cornerback, and by the time the draft rolled around, they'd already solved that.
Right.
It's part of the reason I was talking about on this show. Like, I think they could take Ty Simpson.
There you go.
Like, it just seems because they're not going to be picking high enough next year to get, any of the premier guys. So, like, when are they going to be picking up there again? You may as well knock it out. They did. So, I actually gave that an A-.
Okay.
On that.
I gave it a B- because I still think it was, way overdone, but I understand.
Well, it was the biggest need they had, so I factored that in. It was only a reach by 8, so he was not making it back to them.
No, he's a reach of 24 for me, so that's why.
Adam is 21 on my board, mostly because
I do
he's
agree
a quarterback
with you,
and they get pumped up a little bit.
Right. I do agree with you, though. He probably would not have lasted to their next pick. So I understand that from that logic.
But then the wheels fall off here. Max Clare, man, he was for a while my tight end 1, but even then I wasn't super high in this tight end class.
Sure.
He ended up, he still was my number 2 tight end, but he had a 4th round grade on him, and they grab him in round 2. That was a reach by 40. I gave it an F.
Now, see, I gave that one a B because he went right around 60 where I thought he was. I remember what he did at Purdue. Just because Ohio State had other people and wanted him to bulk up and block instead of catch the ball,
I had him
man
at
can still
101.
catch the ball. No, I had him at 60. So
there you go.
61, sorry.
Keegan Trust, a guy that I was, super intrigued by for a long time. Then I realized he had little tiny arms, and I also realized he's now over 25 years old. His birthday was April 15th. Happy belated birthday.
Right.
But it's an F, man. I'm sorry. It's a reach by 39. So
yeah,
right there. Here goes a wide receiver.
You're
talking about the Cardinals should have taken over Reggie Virgil. They grabbed C.J. Daniels here in the 6th round.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, on that one, dude. They gave up 2 7ths and then swapped their 6th to go up and get C.J. Daniels. So,
right, which is why it's a D. Because I had him as a UDFA.
Right. I actually gave that one a B because
I figured you would. You had him.
Yeah. I had him way higher than you did. But even then, you still had to give up stuff to come up and get him when you they only made 5 picks.
Yep. It's only got one left. Last one in the 7th round. A guy that I had a 7th round grade on. Tim Keenan the third from Alabama. It's a plus 31 grade, but it's hard to I gave it just like a B, I
gave it an A because I had him in the 6th. So
oh, you did have a 6th round grade on him?
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, even though I had him as a 6th round grade and I gave it an A, dude, what do you do you like the Ty Simpson pick? Because that's about the only pick I can sit back and say that I like the Max Clare pick the best, probably, but I really don't like any of their picks. Like the McDuffie thing was the best thing they did.
I think Ty. That's tough because the value they lost the value, but they crushed the need, and they're like Super Bowl now. So because Ty Simpson doesn't help them now unless there's an injury, and you don't want that. Right. So like for the help now pick, they drafted nothing that helps them now. Not even Max Clare, because they have like the deepest tight end room in the league. Like that's all.
They're right up there,
this is all down the road pick. Nothing they drafted helps them today.
Yeah, if you look at the depth chart for the Rams when it comes to the tight end room, I mean, you're basically Claire right now, according to I'm looking at fantasy points because again, our lads just doesn't like loading on my computer. He's their 7th tight end according to their list right now. You got Colby Parkinson. Sorry, not the 6th tight end. Nope, 7th. I was kidding.
It's erroneous to not have him in the top 4.
4th.
Oh, I was going to say he should be in the top 4.
I thought they had 2 tight ends on there, but they had tight end and they have the right wide receiver. I'm looking at it differently than it usually does. So it's Parkinson, Higbee, Ferguson, Clare.
Right.
Still though,
and after next year, it's only going to be Ferguson and Clare because Parkinson and Higbee are going to be gone. Parkinson, I think, is on an expiring contract this year, and Higbee, he might resign and just be the 3rd guy. He's older, coming off from some injuries.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where what choice are you gonna make at that point? Who are you gonna move on from, kind of a thing. So yeah, if you look at the roster for them right now, Ferguson's obviously still on the rookie deal, but yeah, Higbee's 33 and Parkinson's done after this year. Yeah, like you said, he's a free agent next year, an unrestricted free agent, not like anything that they can do anyway. So yeah, he will be gone if he wants to be gone. If he wants to make money,
they might trade him at the trade deadline. You never know.
Sure, that could very well be a piece. But again, you never know if they're going for a win now kind of a thing. All right, last team for the West. The Seattle Seahawks could have pretty much stumbled into winning this division, but we're still going to run through everything anyways. Jadarian Price, their first pick, which I thought was at least was a round ahead of where he should have gone.
I gave it an F.
When people had him, I gave it a C because it's still a big need for them. And he probably was the 2nd or 3rd running back for most people's boards. So while I'm not overly enthused by the pick, I at least understand it, even though I think they bet against themselves a bit. I feel like they could have done something different and gotten better value out of somebody else. That being said, next pick, you and I both kind of like this one. That's Bud Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I think you
Love
had
that
him
one.
higher than I did. So I
He was
give
player
it a B-.
69 on my board.
There you go. Good work, bud. And again, slightly older, but again, perfect fit for them because they're ready to win now. Anyways, Julian Neal, a corner that both of us liked, and they got at a little bit of a value as far as
Plus
I'm concerned.
11.
I had him in the third round. I had him at plus 22. So that's an A+ pick because they got him at a good value, and they needed another big corner to go with the guys that they lost. And then they made the best pick of their draft in the 5th round on day 3. They got your boy. They got Bo Stevens. They filled the biggest need on their offensive line. They needed another guard to come in there and contribute. I would not be surprised if he's starting day 1 on that team. Go ahead and say more about Bo if you want to real quick. I know you love that boy.
Dude, I had him as player 38 on my board. I had a pure 2nd-round grade on him. This was an S pick for me, plus 110. And this is a beautiful situation for him. It really just is. I don't know why. It just feels like he's going to be – do you think he could slide in? You know their O-line better than I do. I feel like by next year he's going to be starting. But I don't know if he can break in this year.
No, see, that's the thing. When you look at their line, right, the guys that they have starting on this team, they really do have an opportunity for somebody to come in. Right now, Anthony Bradford is the starting right guard. They technically have Bo Stevens set as a left guard on this fantasy point set, but there's a real big world where Stevens can challenge Bradford right now, because when you look at that team and how they played last year, I know you aren't as big of a fan of the tackles as everybody else, but everybody else is in pretty good shape on that line. Bradford was kind of the weak link for them. Even in the Super Bowl, he played all right, but overall, he was the guy that people were questioning. So Bo Stevens could easily step in there. He'll at least push him this year. I would not be surprised if he started day 1 and certainly by the end of the season.
Yeah, because they got, Cross and Lucas at tackles?
Yeah.
Is that their 2 offensive tackles?
And then they got Zabel at
so
one of the
they're both solid, just neither one of
Mhm.
them are elite. I love Zabel. He struggled a little bit, but yeah, man,
Right.
I don't know. I could see You know what I would do if I were them? I would put Zabel at center and then Bo Stevens at left guard and tell Sundell to chill out. That's what I would do. And I think Bradford struggled the most.
One of the bigger surprises. Yeah. That's when you look at that offensive line, one of the big surprises for me.
I always did.
Sure. Yeah. And again, he's a guard right now because they feel like they have an answer. I thought Olu was going to be better in the NFL. I really did. With the way he played at Virginia, the way he played at Michigan, he's just not, I don't know if the athleticism isn't what it needs to be for the NFL or what, but that dude seemed like he had it together for Michigan, and it just has not translated to the NFL. So, yeah, that's probably why they wouldn't mind using Zabel at center at some point. When you look at the rest of day 3, Emmanuel Henderson. So, again, another one of those moments where you look at who was there, who they could have taken. Admittedly, it was further down the line. So at that point, it's really just C.J. Williams, Deion Burks. So sure, but also, did you need to pull a wide receiver right there? Maybe I would have gone a different direction personally, just because I didn't think that was a huge need for them. I know they need to do something down the road for to replace Cooper Kupp at some point, but I feel like you've got Torrey Horton on the team, you've got Jake Bobo on the team. I didn't see that as a huge deal, even though, maybe you're looking at a slot. So wasn't a huge fan of that pick. Andre Fuller from Toledo, nice flyer in the 7th round. Gave it a C because he's about where I thought he would be, but he was in the 7th-ish UDFA kind of spot for me. I know some other people liked him a little more. Devin Eastern was the other good pick that they made in the 7th round. I wasn't a huge fan of him, but in the 7th round, I'm a fan of him. Definitely a fan of him in the 7th round. And because every Arizona Wildcat corner, I give it an A. Because for where I had him sitting as like a late 6th round pick, you got him in the 7th? Sure.
It was a plus 110 on my board, which suggests like a easy, but we're talking 7th round pick here. It's a dart throw still. It's hard for me to give an A in the 6th and 7th round. Like a B plus is like the best you can get unless your name's Red Murdoch.
Right, fair. JP's grading system, everybody. But again, also their last pick, because every Arizona, I think there was a contractual obligation that every Arizona Wildcat defensive back would get drafted this year. I don't know who was making that call. But Michael Dansby, good for you getting drafted. meh as far as the pick in my mind. When you,
Good
again,
C.
at their depth chart, he's a depth piece, but he's behind Julian Neal. You already grabbed a corner. I didn't think they needed to go grab 2 corners, but whatever. That's their choice. Here's the thing. When you look at all of the drafts for all of these divisions, or for this division, I still think this is the best one. But it's not by a lot, and they're all kind of not great.
It's crazy to me that they're the best team in this division, considering their first pick got an F.
Mm-hmm.
But with the exception of Emmanuel Henderson, they were like B pluses and an S.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. So I for the sake of, I have Seattle at 1, Arizona at 2, and then, geez, my teams were just rough in this. Yeah.
I think I had the Rams. I have the Rams at 2, Arizona at 3, only because the Rams made the move they did for McDuffie, but that's the only reason why I have them nudged ahead of them. But I'm not complaining either way if
Seattle,
that's the
though,
case. Right? We definitely agree on Seattle, so we can wrap up this division. Before we go out east, though, we both popped bottles for this one, and I am on the other side of the pond, so to speak, sir, because I got myself a little Oban 14, or Oban, however you want to say it. This one is a West Highland single malt Scotch, and for those of you who are usually looking for the bourbon, rather, this is not bourbon. This is Scotch, and this was a gift from one of my buddies for the wedding. So finally cracked it open at the friend's birthday party this past weekend, where I dressed as a goth, which was really funny. I'll have to show you the pictures of me with eye makeup and black lipstick and things. It was kind of funny. You could tell, though, with our group of friends that while Nick was saying goodbye to his 30s, most of the people in the group had not really ever gone goth. It was kind of funny. Couple people, but most of them not so much. That being said, the interesting thing was we did this right after. I forgot to write down the name, but there was another Scotch that someone brought that had been finished in Madeira casks, right? So it had such a different flavor profile. Like you had a hint of Scotch on the front end, and then it was Madeira the rest of the way. So very much, even though it was a single malt, it was very different character. Like this is a classic single malt, and because it's a Highland instead of like the Isla or whatever, it tastes much more like a standard Scotch. It doesn't have the overly peaty character that some people put in with a Scotch, so it's a lot easier and smoother for that type of beverage. Now, again, very different from a bourbon. For those of you who are mostly just bourbon and American whiskey people, it's a lot thinner flavor in the sense of it doesn't have quite as much of that oily texture. It doesn't have as much of the wood character to it, even though it is usually put into wood casks to finish. Unlike American stuff that has to be in new barrels, the Scotch, they usually use old bourbon barrels or whatever to try to finish off the stuff. And so the fun part about single malts, though, is just like single barrel stuff.
There's a fun part about
different it? For me. Yeah, not for you. But for single malts, as opposed to single barrels, whatever.
A couple that I can tolerate.
Well, and again, there are good ones out there, but it's just
I'm sure
like
there
bourbon.
Are.
You gotta hunt around for them. The nice thing about Scotch over bourbon is it is a little cheaper to get the better stuff, but it also it's still silly to get the super high end stuff. But that upper mid tier, I think is a little cheaper with Scotch right now because it isn't as big of a deal in Michigan, certainly as bourbon is. But Oban 14, under $100, very nice bottle if you are a Scotch person or have a friend who's a Scotch person. Recommended, easy drinker. What do you pop there, sir?
Well, I was just, that's why I wasn't looking when you were talking about the Scotch for the first time. I decided to research, because it doesn't tell you all the time on the bottle, like what the mash bill is, if you will.
Sure.
And I felt like that might be something that's kind of important. Mm-hmm. And I can't find this specific bottle. Well, I'm drinking Green River Full Proof. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'll share why I chose this bottle at the end. It's going to be a little bit of a double take. But I'm drinking this, and the full proofs, they're all different. You know what I mean? Like each bottle is going to be a little bit different proof. For example, mine is 118.1 proof. Mm-hmm. And the one I was looking it up to see what the mash bill is, this specific bottle for the mash bill is 117.3. So same ballpark. I got to think the mash bill is the same, just the proof's different, right?
At least close, yeah.
So it's 70% corn, 21% rye, which makes me feel a little better.
Makes you happy.
9% malted barley, which makes me happy as well, but awfully confused.
Because there's no wheat in that bad boy.
Right, which is crazy. So when I sip this thing, I get a ton of It smells like cinnamon on the nose.
Okay.
Okay. But
Sure.
don't trust my nose. Reminder, everybody. My palate's on point. My nose is, very in the infant state. I'm like, that smells like whiskey. Sweet. Let's sip it.
It still cracks me up.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But I get a lot of caramel and brown sugar on this, and there is a spice note, and I can't figure it out. And the only thing I can come up with is the fact, because rye is spicier. I love the malted barleys. I get a little bit of spicy, like earthy notes from that too, but I don't pick any earthy notes up. But as I scroll down their bottle, I'm looking at it, and it looks like I nailed the brown sugar caramel, but they don't mention anything in here that has any kind of spice, according to the bottle that I looked up. I'm telling you, there's a spice in here. I would have thought it would have come across as a cinnamon because my nose picked it up, but it just doesn't. Like, I guess if you forced me to do it, I would just call it like some sort of mild pepper, but there's a spice in there. I can't figure it out. Maybe by the end of the show,
probably that 21% rye. It's having something to do with that.
But I'm trying to figure out what spicy note that rye is presenting. 21% rye is a decent amount. Most bourbon, like E.H. Taylor, my favorite, it's only like 10% rye.
Well, right, because again, rye has that. Yeah, rye has that character that, again, not everybody else is as big of a fan of, so that's why that makes it interesting. All right, well, let's...
Hold on, real quick. The reason that I chose this bottle was because I got an early look, at least in my area. Green River released a new product. I didn't want to try this at all. Okay? I was actually quite sad because one of my favorite things about Green River is it's very solid juice at a very affordable price.
Sure.
Like, it sips beyond its price. Their value is what they are.
Right.
They're not like my favorite, but all of them are values, right?
No, bang for the buck there, definitely.
Yep. And here we are. They release a new one, this Green River Honey. Like, why is everybody doing...
Because people can't handle regular bourbon.
The same way that I get all fired up about, like, beers tasting artificially flavored, I hate it when I get a bourbon that's so over the top with like the fake notes in it. And I was just like, dude, this thing's just going to be, I don't even want it. And the guys that I get my bourbon from like, dude, no, you got to try it. You got to try it. It's not bad. I'm like, dude,
Is it like a 30%er or is it actually a 40% plus bottle?
I don't know. They poured it out of a little airplane bottle that they got for samples to give people to see how it would go. Here's what I'll say. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on it. But my guess is it's maybe like aged in some type of a honey barrel, because to my surprise, I wouldn't go buy a bottle, but if somebody offered it to me, I would sip it for sure. It was not over the top on the honey.
So it's not like the Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey thing.
No, this is actually, because that's a liqueur. It's not even
exactly. That's what I was
whiskey
asking.
Or whatever you call it. This is actual whiskey.
Okay.
They call it honey, and I was expecting that. That's what I was expecting, like the Jack Daniel's, the Wild Turkey, American honey, all that. And it was not that. So
that's good.
If you're a person who likes honey and likes bourbon, like this would probably be, you'd probably like it quite a bit, to be honest with you. Not really for me, but I wouldn't turn it away. I'm not going to go buy it though.
Well, since you wrapped the story, I'll do one as well real quick to wrap up. Now, when I had this
you know
Oban,
what I just realized?
Oh, what's that?
Well, I was supposed to share my crazy story on this episode.
You were, but we're going to have to save it for next time, man.
Yep.
That's okay. We got one more. We'll make sure it happens next time. We won't get sidetracked with other stories, but I do still have to say, I tried something again, not mostly just because friends were doing it, peer pressure, etc., even though I remember not liking it, and I can report back that I once again do not like it, because we had a friend bring to this birthday party a bottle of Jepsen's Mallort.
Oh, geez.
Those of you,
was it a joke or were they serious?
They were. I mean, it was the usual hazing ritual, right? It was trying to get people to drink it that hadn't drank it before, because it's just terrible on so many levels. And here's what I can tell you: the one thing I can say for it, and this isn't a positive note, but it's a positive note for me, is because I've drank enough higher proofed bourbons now. There's no burn when I drink Mallort, which is great, but also it means I can taste all of the flavors, of which there aren't any good ones. So it's a hilarious, I did get some great video.
Pure alcohol proof burn would honestly probably taste better. I had never had it. Weren't you the one that made me try it?
I did not. I'll bet it was Skylar or one of your Chicago boys that made it.
No. I swear you had a bottle of it, and I swear
I never had a bottle of it. There may have been other people around me. I don't remember, dude. I usually try to block all Mallort memories out of my brain because
Were
it's just
you
such
and
a pile of terribleness.
No. I think I remember this now.
Okay.
Put an E on us, you fucker, because
Oh.
you agreed to this. We were
Okay.
shopping at one of my guys. You were in town for something, and he laughed because he had the airplane bottles of the Mallort.
Right. Okay.
And then you're like, dude,
That
we got to
tracks.
try it because we don't have to buy a whole bottle of it. And
Exactly.
I was like,
I was right about
dude.
that.
I was like, we don't have to try this, Dan. You're like, dude, we got it. We got it. You remember now?
It's integrity, man. It is for the show. That being said, I do have a friend who swears that the barrel-aged Mallort that he had was better, to which my response was, of course it was better because it's not regular Mallort. Anything that's not regular Mallort is going to be better. Exactly. But I do have a great video of a friend of mine trying it, and she made so many different faces of her trying to like it. Like that meme of the woman who's like scrunches her face and like, well, maybe. She tried to, maybe it 4 times, and each time scrunched her face. It was great. Now, she also tried a very little bit of the Old Forester store pick that I had brought, the one that we had, which, by the way, remember all that cherry that we had in the neck pour? It's less cherry the rest of the way through.
Really?
Still good, but less cherry. Point is, she tried a sip of that
I have an
and
open
almost
mind
died.
because I tried yours. Oh, wow, it's
go.
a high proof.
Exactly. If you have friends, this is our little PSAs. We're wrapping up the bourbon talk. If you have friends that are not used to anything above like a 40% bottle, caution them when you're giving them barrel proofs, which I did. It was still funny.
Even when people talk about how like, hey, drink gin, it's got a decent amount of alcohol in it, 47 or whatever. That's still like the lowest you can possibly get.
Well,
for bourbon.
I got a gin, a Navy strength gin that's 57%. I'm about to drink that.
Oh yeah, it can go above it. I'm just saying,
Right.
like most gin is 47
There's
something.
Yeah, there's a few bourbons out there that are 45 and 40, but they're not really bourbons. So, all right, let's go out east as I crack something else to go along with
the heck?
this guy. I didn't have any beer I haven't drank, so this is a little big like amber action while we're going through this.
Well, I might have to do a little more Green River. You never know. All right, I never know what team to start with here. I always like to start with my favorite team, and I just don't have one. I know I've said that on several episodes. I don't know what it is.
All right, which one are you going to go with? I don't know which one to pull up.
Let's go.
Still cracks me up.
It's so tough. Let's go with the Giants.
I guessed right. Okay.
Well, just because they've been drafting some guys I like, you know.
Did they this time? Is the question. Go ahead.
They did, dude. So here's the thing. Like, I'll get it right this time, unlike I did with the Rams. I got to start out with how I love Dexter Lawrence. You know that. Anyone who's listening to the show, go back and listen to it. I do. But he's also a 30-year-old D lineman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just got a top 10 pick for him. Fleeced the Bengals. Fleeced them. So, I'm not going to get to that pick yet because before they picked at 10, they picked at 5. And they got a guy who could have gone number 2, right?
Sure.
And guess what? I'm just being a little bit of a hater on it because I didn't think it was a need, right? So, and I gave it a B+, and I feel like I got to spend a second on this and explain it.
Go ahead.
Good. I'm glad you did. Tell me if you agree with my take. Aside from this not being a need, because they have the deepest edge rusher class in the room, then they turn around and basically say they're going to play him as a linebacker. Mm-hmm. Well, Arvell Reese is a true-ish linebacker, was nowhere near a top 6 player in this draft in my mind. The intrigue was the freaky athleticism being on the outside. Yep. Now, I understand that this could be a temporary spot for him to play until other things sort themselves out. But what the hell, man? Like, seriously, like, I would have done so many different things.
I have posted a reel from back when we were at Brad's talking about how Sonny Styles is better than Arvell Reese at everything Arvell Reese does.
Yeah, and now they're going to play him, and that's what Sonny Styles may or may not do. But it's got to be temporary. But even that's the only thing I can think of. How temporary is it? Because you can't let Brian Burns go. He's so effing good.
I don't think you would let Burns go.
You just took Abdul Carter, who people thought was arguably the best player in his class. Now you got him. You're locked into those 3. Yeah, now you got to move Thibodeau or just let him walk whenever his contract ends. Right. Either way, there's that. But then you still have 3.
Right.
I would rather have. You can never have too many edge rushers, but when you tell me I could have a Sonny Styles in any of those two, I'm going that route. Well, not any of those two. Take Tibbs out.
Take
any
Tibbs
of
out,
the
right.
two of the other three, and then Styles.
Yeah, and now I hope that John Harbaugh, for his sake, gets creative on defense and uses Arvell Reese and Abdul Carter.
Collusion. What if Thibodeau gets traded to the Chargers for like a bag of peanuts?
That could be a good deal for both of them, I think. Yeah, but that's the thing. Is like I can see a world where if they do a little flippity floppity and have Abdul Carter play some linebacker, play some edge, have Arvell Reese play some linebacker, play some edge, there could be a way that gets interesting. If I'm a defensive coach for the Giants,
but
I'm intrigued at that. But no,
dumb.
It's still not worth. Sonny Styles should have been the pick here if you were going either one, personally. Yeah.
If you were going defense with Sonny Styles, nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, moving on. The Dexter Lawrence pick, the number 10 here. I really didn't think they would do this, and I absolutely freaking love it. I thought for sure they were going to go a Caleb Downs or a Tyson or something like that.
Right.
I gave this an A-. Maybe I should. Well, it's because it was a -1. I probably should have just given it a flat
A. Plus,
but Francis Maui Noah, man, and I don't care if he doesn't even play tackle. He might play tackle. He could play the right tackle for him. Yeah, but he could end up being right tackle. But I'm just saying, I don't care if he ever makes it to right tackle. So, he's gonna be at guards where he should be, and he could be a Pro Bowl guard. By year 2, he could be a Pro Bowl guard in my mind.
But also, let's not forget who they have at tackle right now. And Edelman, we've joked about
they
for
paid him
years.
Now.
Yeah. So they didn't pay him that much though. They could still
that's fair.
move on from him if they wanted to. But yeah, it's a great pick for them for what they need on that team. There's no doubt.
All right, I spent a lot of time on the first two. Just get on my soapbox a little bit, if you can call it that. I don't know why I said that. It is what it is. I just say things sometimes.
I'm fine with it. You and I have been staunchly against Arvell Reese as the amazing player that everybody believes he is, not what he could be, right? Everybody thinks he's ready to go now.
I had him as my number 7 player, but
number 8.
You had my number 1 player on the board for you. But anyways, we moved on. I'll go quickly through the rest. So then in the second round, they grabbed Colton Hood. I gave that a flat B. It's only a -8. I love that. Malachi Fields, I gave it an A. It was a +19 on my board. I'm terrified by his tiny hands, but I can't help it. The guy, just every time you watch him, I'll tell you what, the way he plays wide receiver and the catches he does make, I would have guessed he had 10-inch hands. I don't know if that
how
can
are you
continue.
6'4.5"?
It doesn't make sense.
9-inch hands.
They must have started at the center of his palm. I refuse to believe he's got 9 inches. It doesn't make sense.
I am 5'9" on a good day.
And the way he catches the football, it's crazy to me.
Dude, I'm 5'9" on a good day, and that's if I'm feeling a little frisky, and I have bigger hands than Malachi Fields. It's crazy to me. Now, again, I gave it a B- because I didn't have him as high as you, but it's still not a bad pick for them. They did help themselves at wide receiver, which they needed to.
I had him as player 55. They got him 74. Okay, now they didn't pick for a while here. That was the 3rd round pick. Now we're going all the way to the 6th round. Wheels fell off for this one. Bobby Jamison Travis, UDFA. Think he was one of the ones I added, one of the 5 I had to add to my board, dude. I can't remember for sure, but I know there's 5 I had to add. He might have been one. I gave it a D.
D+. Okay. Only reason why I put the plus on there is because they needed D lineman. He's just not the guy I would have taken. Because again, you go back, I mean, admittedly, 6th round, shoot your shot, so to speak. But you and I both would have shot our shot on someone else that could have been a defensive lineman, someone else that'll come up a little later on in this division. So we'll leave it for right now. But there were better players they could have taken.
Then it gets crazy fun for these last 2, dude. Another one of those crazy situations. I absolutely butchered J.C. Davis all year long because people were talking about him going in the 3rd round. I had a 5th round grade on him. They got him in the 6th. They got him at a +60. So here we are, a player that I butchered. I had to give an A.
Yeah, I gave an A+ because he was plus 112 for me because I did like him like everybody else did.
Another
he's
player
probably to be a guard for him or a backup tackle or something. It's a great get.
Another player that I was super intrigued by, but just didn't know level competition. I don't know. I had a 5th round grade on him though. Jack Kelly. They got him in the 6th round. That was a +61.
See, and that's funny to me because you grabbed a linebacker, just like you grabbed with Arvell Reese in the 1st round. Yep. Cool, guys. I gave it an A because again, it was the value there. But still, the Giants had a baffling draft.
Jack Kelly, he could be as absolute stud on special teams. We spent a lot
the
of time on
the Giants took 6 of 7 good players. I just don't know that they all fit what they're trying to do.
Correct.
That's the thing that weirds me out for them.
Yep.
Washington, well, they did get our number 1 player on the board, so A+ for the first pick.
I almost gave that an
Styles.
S just because, but I don't know how I would give an S to a +6.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like he's one of my favorite picks from that round. Obviously, Sonny Styles is a plug-and-play day 1 starter who is going to fit great for Rivera's team.
Where was he at on your board? I know he's my 1.
He was
what
one.
Was he?
He was 1 for me as well.
Oh, he leapfrogged David Bailey even for you?
Yep. Yeah, because when you look at dude, I love
like
David Bailey, right? But you couldn't deny
not as
Sonny
much as
Styles
me.
what he did.
He
Right,
was my guy.
Again, David Bailey was your guy. I loved him, even though I know he's going to torch Cassius Howell. I really hope for David Bailey's sake he has a great season, but for my sake and for a bottle's sake, I hope that he,
is that what we bet?
Something. Yeah, well, we didn't bet a bottle. I think we bet a bomber. I'm not that crazy, but yeah. No, that was the bet early in the season. I would still own that bet's going to end
Dungeons and Dragons bomber.
You're
kidding, because it's a $60 bottle or something.
I know,
no,
crazy.
we're not doing that.
But Washington, I did like the little backstory. So he's number 52 because he grew up liking Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis, sure, right? And also because his dad reminded him 5 + 2 = 7, which was your draft spot. So he had to be 52, right? Unless he was going to be 7. That wasn't going to happen. So Sonny
I'm
Styles,
glad you read that
pick.
article. I saw it come through and I forgot to click it. I didn't know why he picked 52.
Yeah, that was the combination of loving the guys who wore 52 and 5 + 2, right? So it just fit for him. And again, this is a guy that I hope they use all over that defense, right? As opposed to, look, he's going to be fine if you just leave him as your Mike linebacker that sits back and does whatever you want him to do, right?
No, but just let him play. Just put him there and be like, hey, you go do you, dude.
Blitz him at least a little bit here and there. If he doesn't have at least 1 A gap a game, you're doing it wrong, right? All right, so the rest of the picks for Washington in the 3rd round, they didn't have a second.
I love Antonio Williams. Sorry,
Antonio Williams was a great pickup for them because this is a team. We were mocking wide receiver to them in the 1st round in certain situations. He comes in day 1 as a starter for them as well.
A.
Right, Scary Terry. Luke McCaffrey is probably their other starter right now, although they've got some other guys who could hypothetically get in there too. But yeah, it's an A because Antonio Williams is a great possession receiver for them, something that they needed to take a little pressure off of Terry. Now, I gave this pick an A, and I don't think I like that, so I think I'm going to knock it down to a B+.
Williams?
Just because.
Williams?
No. I gave an A to Williams. How about the next pick? Joshua Josephs, I gave a B+ because
I gave it a
it's
C.
a 5th round pick. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of him. But by the time they took him at 147, they needed help on the edge. They desperately needed help on the edge. That's probably why I gave it a bigger bump at the time. And the fact that, well, look, at that point too, you were pretty picked over. Like Caden Curry is the only guy that we would have taken ahead of him, I think. When you look at where everybody else was on that list. So I understand it. Even if I didn't necessarily like the player, I liked where they got him at. That being said, the best value pick they had the entire day was the next one, getting Katron Allen at 187 in the 6th round. This is a guy that people were hyping at one point about being maybe a 3rd round guy or something like that. I think I had him at 96 on my board, so he's tail end of the 3rd round, right? Probably 4th round, grade, but a 3rd, 4th round when it comes to the numbers because of how this draft looked. That was great for them getting him in the 6th. He again has an opportunity because they lost Rodriguez. There's a path to playing time for him at the running back spot because Bill and who else? Rashad White, who's been a nice complimentary piece, but Katron Allen can definitely get some carries this year for them. Nice pickup. And then Matt Golban, sure, you're giving yourself a depth piece at center. I don't see him starting right away. They do need help at that position. Allegretti has a future, but Golban's kind of a dart throw, I guess, in the 6th round. And then Athlon Kaliak-Manis from Rutgers, not who I had getting drafted in the 7th round as a quarterback. But that man, I don't understand because he played at Minnesota, played at Rutgers. People always think he's going to be better than he ever has been. I don't know.
That's true.
He must have some athleticism that people are intrigued by because he's never been the guy for me to take a next step. And obviously everybody keeps thinking he will. He's probably going to be a backup in the league for a decade because people keep thinking he can do something, which is great for him. Boy, he's going to make some money. But yeah, overall, wasn't really pleased with those last 2 picks. But they nailed 3 of their 6 picks, had an on another one, and then sort of trashed their 6th and 7th. So overall, this was good. Not great, but very good for Washington. And they helped themselves out this year.
All right. Dallas. Man, absolute dream scenario for them. I got to feel like. I mean, I know that they gave up 2 5s to move up 1 pick. It's a little mind-boggling. Like, yeah, Miami could have taken them, but at the same time, it's like they had to have thought someone else was trying to actively move up.
That's what it was. Yeah, because Miami clearly wasn't planning on grabbing a safety, so they were doing it. They were betting against themselves a little bit, but again, it's the same thing that we talk about Philly in a minute that Pittsburgh didn't do by moving up a spot with Dallas. Dallas did.
If Downs was Miami's guy, there's no way they're moving off from their guy for 2 5s. So it had to have been somebody else. So either way, even if nobody was moving up, and Dallas was just freaked the F out. I guess I already said the F word once. I can say it now. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, go for the gold, man.
But yeah, it's an A-. I don't care about the 2 5s because this was the number 4 player on my board. This is crazy, and he should have been higher than 4 on my board if I wasn't freaked out about the knees. Just saying.
Sure, he was 2 on my board. Dave Bailey fell down to 3. Really? Yeah, wow, I had 2 Buckeyes atop my board. That's how weird this year was. Damn. That's why it's an A+. Because
you need to take you're getting that guy. You're getting out of control now.
Look, the only reason why it wasn't an S is because they gave up 2 5s. That's why it was a
I gave it an A-.
He is going to, unfortunately, because again, I'll remind everybody, not really a Cowboys fan, not until Jerry shuffles loose this mortal coil, which, we've been thinking was going to happen for about a decade. I'm not asking for him to go away, but when he does go away... They've been drafting
well, dude.
They have
who's making the picks the past couple years, but...
I want to know how much I want to really know how much of a hand Jerry's had in some of that. But yeah, Caleb Downs is a great pick.
Next pick, the other first round pick, because you know what? They had
swing and a miss.
They had 2. I still gave it a B+.
I gave it a C+.
Because of the need, and this player is very intriguing. Like I was super interested in him early on. I kind of watched him through Central Florida, but he just never reached like what I felt like he was capable of reaching. Mm-hmm. And maybe he could still, which is why I probably gave it a B+, the need and the potential that I see in this guy. But it's Malachi Lawrence. But the problem is there just, dude.
Do you want me to go through the whole list of guys?
No, just don't. I'll just keep saying Gabe Akis, man.
Sure.
So,
there were several.
I gave it a B+.
We like
Love
that.
it. All right, then here we go. We'll speed up through the last little bit here. Jayshon Barham. I had a 4th round grade on him. They took him in the 3rd. So, that's a round reach, but he also was only a reach by 9, according to my board.
He wasn't a gigantic reach, but I still gave it a C+ because he's kind of the same thing Lawrence is.
No, because I think Lawrence, because he's 13 pounds heavier, man.
Well, they're both speed rushers, is my point.
Right, but I think that Lawrence can be an outside linebacker, and I think that Barham can be a little bit of versatility, play linebacker, play a little bit of the rush, because he has to be. Otherwise, why'd you do it? Because you got my boy from Boston College last year, and now you got Lawrence, so it is what it is. But all right, then the 4th round they take Drew Shelton. Dude, I had a 4th round grade on him, so that's an easy B. You just matched where you got him. Then Devin Moore, a guy that I was super intrigued on very late in it and never truly got there, even though I was watching the tape. Had a 6th round grade on him. Based on the level of interest I had, maybe it should have been a 5th round grade, but either way, they took him in the 4th. So I put a D on it, call it a C- if you want. I'm not upset about that.
Sure.
But is what it is. LT Overton, talk about a looks the part guy that just has absolutely done nothing.
Just never.
Had a UDFA on him. They took him in the 4th round. That's a recipe for an F right there. That math equation works every single time. And then their last pick, Anthony Smith from East Carolina Pirates. I had a UDFA on him. Also, I gave it a C. Don't care in the 7th rounds where you take the small school guy and just if you see him as a special teams contributor or something crazy or more, you can't be penalized for missing on 7th round pick.
Now, that being said, I do have to give Dallas one more little shout out for something that they did with their 5th round pick. Instead of taking a guy, they traded it to the Niners for D. Winters. That was a good move.
That's a good move. That's a great move.
He is, and again, the Niners technically felt like they didn't need him because they had guys coming back healthy. But he is probably going to be one of their starting inside linebackers because they do more of a 3-4. And so you got a starter who's 25, the same age as some guys coming out of this draft.
Yeah,
and you got him for a 5th round pick. That's great, in my opinion. I mean, even though you're gonna have to pay him a little faster than rookies if you want to keep him, but still, that was a great move. Good. I think Dallas sucked for me.
I think Dallas is going to win this damn division, dude.
I disagree. We'll get there in a second.
You're going to say Philly. No. Not draft grades.
As far as the season. Yeah, there's a good chance.
The favorites are going to be Philly. I think that Dallas could upset that and take this thing.
Philly's in a weird spot right now because obviously we're expecting AJ to leave, and while we're on that, let's go ahead and just sort of hybrid switch over. But Dallas, if their offensive line gels to where it should be, Dak has still got his weapons at least for this year because Pickens isn't going anywhere this season. It doesn't matter who they have at running back because they got everything else. Right? Yeah. So even if Javonte Williams turns in another decent season like he did last year, the real question for them coming into this season is, can their defense improve? And to their credit, they brought in guys that are going to improve their defense. Caleb Downs is going to anchor that backfield, right? You've got D. Winters up the middle. Regardless of how we feel about LT Overton, Malachi Lawrence, Jayshon Barham, whatever, they have added bodies to a pass rush.
Edge rushers are good, and the D-line's phenomenal. Talk about having 2 young edge rushers with that interior D-line. That's insane.
This is a win now.
I'm going to call it right now. Dallas is going to win this division over the Eagles.
And I can't... I'm not... I might argue it throughout the season to make things interesting, but as of right now, I agree with you. That being said, I don't think they won this division, and that's because of what the Eagles did. Now, first off, their first pick, they slid up 3 picks to steal Malachi Lemon, literally steal him away from the Steelers, who decided to call a guy when it wasn't their pick yet, which I still don't understand the logic on that one. I kind of want to ask them, did they think he didn't have other people who could get the phone to him? Were they just so bent because they saw Dallas was there? There's obviously Dallas isn't taking a wide receiver. I would love to know what was going through their minds because it was and we talked about it before, it was such a hilarious thing for them. Now, Lemon is not A.J. Brown, right? Very different style of wide receiver, but we knew they had to do something. We knew they had to do something at wide receiver. And everything has been pointing to the new offensive system they're running is much more of a over-the-middle kind of game than a chuck it deep sort of game. So if you look at it from that perspective, it makes sense that they grabbed somebody who does his damage in the middle of the field, like Mekhi Lemon does, rather than A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown, if you feel like he's out, because again, we've talked about this, there's a very good chance he's going to New England. Once June 1 hits. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. Right, once that happens. So when you do that, now it's Devonta Smith, who is a very good number 2, but not like a big-bodied guy, and Mekhi Lemon. Those are your top 2 options. And then you've got a whole lot of question marks behind him. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes up into that spot. Johnny Wilson, who is physically like 6'6" or whatever, could hypothetically be that tall guy. He's just not fast. So that's something they're going to have to figure that whole piece out. But when you look at the rest of their draft, Eli Stowers, a lot of people are saying he could be that guy that they got in the 2nd round. I like that pick. Again, B+ for Mekhi Lemon, B+ for Eli Stowers. I know I liked him better than you. But for a receiving tight end and a big-bodied guy who can come in and maybe replicate a little bit of A.J. Brown from the tight end position, he is a guy that I don't expect them to have blocking all the time, right? He's a guy that feels like they're going to have him split out in different spots. He's a tight end in name only to me. Next pick they made, I gave it a B-, but it's still one of my favorites, right? Because you got me going on this guy. Markel Bell.
I gave it a B.
Somehow, I gave it a B-. Somehow, this man is 6'9" and a quarter and 346 pounds and has the same 9-inch hands that Malachi Fields does, which boggles my mind that a man that is a foot taller than me and 100+ pounds heavier than me technically has hands that are a tiny bit smaller than mine.
Yeah,
it boggles genomic science. I have
no
idea.
Full inch smaller than mine, and I'm. Oof.
Yeah, you're 5'11", right? Somewhere in that ballpark.
No, hell
5'10".
No, I'm 5'10".
Oh, we did that. We did the measurements. You were 5'11" when you had hair. But he is a really good piece for someone who could hypothetically step in next season when Lane Johnson, if the bionic man ever stops playing, right? So really did like that. Cole Payton as a intriguing backup quarterback. Maybe he actually went a little lower than I thought he was going to with the way everything was playing out. I do think he is. The funny thing is he is very much a Jalen Hurts kind of quarterback, where he's a runner who's maybe not the best thrower. So I will say this: technically, he's like third or fourth on their sheet right now, depending on how you look at McKee and Andy Dalton. One of those guys I think is going to be gone, whether it's Dalton or McKee. Tanner McKee was never a good fit, in my opinion, in Philly. I had no idea why they drafted him personally. He's a statue back there. He's the opposite of Hurts. So at any rate, Peyton is pretty much Hurts only younger at this point, right? So he still has a lot of time to get somewhere, but it's a fun pick. The next one I think was probably your favorite pick. Go ahead.
It absolutely was. I gave it an S. It's the only S in this division for me.
There you go.
Micah Morris, 52 on my board, 22-year-old guard from Georgia, fits the Philadelphia criteria and taking them Georgia boys. Plus 155 on my board. I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what it is I'm missing, because the NFL graded him out as a 5.86, which is not great. Right? No,
that's like backup journeyman status.
Yeah, the NFL
like
takes him
backup.
NFL takes him in round 6, but dude, I see a 6'5", 334-pound guy with basically 34-inch arms, over 10-inch hands. Athletically tests like a freak with a 5.09 and a 1.73 in the 10, and that's a 40 in the 10 respectively, right? And then you just go look at the analytics. Dude didn't even allow a sack. He only allowed 2 hits and only 4 total pressures at Georgia in
what was his run
grade? SEC. His run block grade?
Yeah. Was he like terrible as run block? Is that why maybe he's dipping for people?
It wasn't terrible. It was not great. I mean, it's a 67.2. I mean,
that's still all right. It's above average. Like if he was below 60, I could see that being a knock. 67 isn't amazing, but it's passable.
His pass blocks an 83.7.
Right. So yeah, again, and this is what Philadelphia does, dude. They just make picks that are value, right? The
best
only
pick of this
that they made,
division.
Yeah, the only pick that they made that wasn't a value for me was their next one when they took Cole Wisniewski. Fine. Again, this is a 7th round draft pick. I'm not going to kill you for it. I gave it a B. Yeah. It was fine. It wasn't great.
I gave it a little worse.
The next pick was one of our favorite picks in the entire draft. Not named Brett Murdoch.
A+. I was just saying A+. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
I threw you off there, didn't I?
And it was an A+ for me too.
Just
because he needed help with his chin strap in the first day of rookie minicamp. I don't care. The guy's a physical freak. It's insane. He basically is Myles Garrett from a physical standpoint, right? Except he's a little heavier than Myles Garrett and ran the same speed as him. So yes, maybe not technically where Myles is. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But totally worth the 7th round pick, man. Love that. And I actually like Keyshawn James Newby, who they took at the end of the 7th round, the pick after Uar, because I think he's a great depth piece for them, and they need help on the edge rusher end of things anyways. So Philly had the best draft for me. They may not have had the highest level, early picks, but I didn't give anything below like the B- I gave for Markel Bell, and even that was probably pushing it a bit. I don't
Philly
think they
had the best draft for you?
I think they made all above average picks. They had the best draft out of the East, definitely. Go ahead and try to counterpoint that. You're gonna be wrong. It's fine.
You've broken my brain. I have Philly in 4th place in this division.
In the East?
Yeah.
How? Because you hate Eli Stowers? You like Markel Bell. You like Cole Payton. You love Micah Morris. You love Uar. How are they 4th?
Well, because I gave Mekhi Lemon a B- based on what the whole trade in there. Not super impressed. Eli Stowers, I gave a D. That was a reach by 47. Markel Bell, I gave it a B. It's solid. Like, it's a good developmental guy. Cole Payton, I gave it a C+. I like him, but
hater.
It is what it is. Yeah, Micah Morris I love, and Bernard. Basically, it's Micah Morris and Bernard. The rest of it, like, I wasn't impressed with anything they did.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. It's fine. So how do you have this division then?
I have Giants 1, Cowboys 2, Commanders 3, Eagles 4. I have the Giants 1 because the Giants got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A grades, 2 Bs, and
The
1
Giants
D.
got a question mark, a guy that you're hoping will work out at guard, but they may try to move to tackle, a DB that we're not quite sure about, a
No,
wide
I'm
receiver
sure.
with tiny hands.
No, see, the Reese, yeah, I only gave it a B plus because there wasn't a need. Love Maui Goa. I'm not questioning what Hood can be on this team. I like everything I see from Fields on there. Fields is going to be their wide receiver
Baby
too
hands.
this year.
Baby hands.
We'll see.
Bobby Jameson Travis was a miss, though. We can say that.
Yeah, it's a D. That's the D.
You have the Giants winning this division. I disagree with that. I think I had the Giants at 2. I will say that. I think I had the Giants at 2. I think I had Washington at 4. And Dallas, slotted in at 3.
All I can tell you is nobody from this one's winning it. Nobody. I don't even think anybody from. Who do we have?
It's not great.
Seattle
Well, nobody from
winning?
the West is. Good Lord. The
No.
West is.
No.
I don't think the West beat.
Like
and I
I
don't
think the
Seattle beat
Giants.
anybody.
I think the Giants
be
had the
Washington.
best draft out of all 8 teams we talked about today.
I disagree. I still think Philly's better. So this will be
I
fun.
don't
We're
think
gonna
the
have
Giants
to come
have
back.
none of these 8 have a shot at winning the NFC, though, in my opinion.
Well, we've still got 2 more divisions to get through, so that gives you a little foreshadowing that JP clearly likes the South and the North a little bit better. But
I don't even
here's
know
what
that.
I will
I
tell you.
just don't care for them. Like
Look,
I'd say,
we're gonna have a debate on our hands at the end of the next episode, so y'all got stuff to look forward to. We're gonna point out how JP's wrong about the Eagles again, and also JP, you still have to tell a story,
I do.
a bourbon story, and it will definitely happen next time we draft.